And then I think a month of working with you, like 30 days of been working with you, I hit my first 10K month.
Well, that's amazing. And how much did your, because I think your close rate, what, 12%?
12%. So my highest so far has been 30%. It was just something like nagging in my head, just saying like objections isn't the solution here. And I don't know what it was. I don't know what. I wasn't convinced that was the solution. But all the other sales trainers and that I saw was just objection handling. And I always have this mindset that when everyone's going like when everyone's zigging, you sort of zag it, like that sort of mindset. So yeah, I was just trying to find someone who's not saying the same thing.
Do you want to just tell everyone a bit about you, like who you are, how did you kind of get into this position as a close?
Yeah, for sure. So my name's Damola. I used to run an agency. I'm a business partner. So scaled up that agency up to the highest month that we did was 47K in pounds. And I fell out of love with the agency space, and I became a coach in the offer owners program that I'm in now, and built up a really good relationship. And yeah, he asked me if I wanted to jump onto the sales team. I've always enjoyed sales, just from my agency days. So yeah, I thought it was a good opportunity, and I was in like a point in my life where I was like tired of the agency and wanted something new. So yeah, it was just an opportunity that I thought I couldn't really turn down.
And so up until this point, then you had, I mean, run your own agency, so you've done some sales, like obviously with your own client, but you'd never kind of like closed for a third party, right?
Yeah, never. And never had any real like sales training. It was all like generic stuff. And like even when I listened to my sales calls, it was just me just showing them how I could actually help them. There was no objection handling and discovery, just to show like, because I had like a bit of a unique mechanism. And to be honest, that was like when I used to show that, because I used to do a lot of work with AI before AI became a big thing. So yeah, I used to just show people like that unique mechanism of like they were sold. So the sell was pretty easy. So yeah, I never really had any sales training and that kind of stuff.
I think that's good in a way. I'm the same. Like people who've read my stuff, I never did any sales course or read any book, and in some ways, I think it's sometimes a good thing because you don't have any of these, like, I call it kitchen sink moments where you learn 100 things in sales and then your sales calls become just everything in one.
Yeah.
Whereas you just highlighted one of the important aspects of selling is where, hey, you can actually get someone over the line by just a pitch, a good pitch, unique mechanism. That's what they're looking for. You're in,
Yeah, that was it. Literally, like 15, 20-minute calls. There wasn't like any emotion to it at all.
That's it. I love that. So it's up to you how much you want to describe, but like, do you want to just let people know like what is the offer you're on right now and kind of how does it work? Who you start to?
Yeah, so it's Charlie Morgan, and he has a client acquisition offer, 10K offer, just helping B2B businesses with client acquisition. So that's pretty much the offer.
Got it. And is it just B2B or is it like a mix B2B, B2C, people coming through? Like, what's the type of ICP you're speaking?
Yeah, that's a good point. So we work with agency owners, any sort of online business, to be honest with you. Agency owners, coaches, consultants, anyone who needs like appointments on their calendar, who take sales calls as well and have a high ticket sort of price offering. That's who we help.
Gotcha. The reason I say is it B2B or B2C is because like you get people right who are I mean, they don't actually have an agency yet. That's just right.
Mm-hmm.
But then you're also speaking to semi-successful agency owners too, right?
Yeah, sure. Yeah.
So like, let's go back because I don't even know this really proper story, but like from you getting that job first, how did you do that for a month? How long did you do that for before you and me started working together?
I'll say a couple months.
Gotcha.
So 2 months. I was on the offer for about 2 months. So yeah, completely fresh. 2 months.
And how was that experience then? Those first 2 months, how did it go? What did you find hard?
Yeah, it was just it was an eye opener just because I was dealing with objections that I've never dealt with. I was like following a script that I've never ever use. I've heard of sales scripts before, but I just never believed in them. I know what I mentioned in terms of just to show people my unique mechanism. So that was a huge learning curve. I had the obviously experience of being in this space and understanding the program, being a coach in the program. So I had like, good technical knowledge, especially when I was speaking to agency or just like online businesses. But it was just the emotional sort of like, cause like selling and objections, and that's what I was like struggling with.
Yeah.
So yeah, that was like I think the biggest roadblock for me was just dealing with objections and dealing with scripts. Yeah, it's just massively different to what I was used to.
Got it. That makes a lot of sense. So what did you achieve in those first 2 months?
Yeah. So yeah, I was struggling. If I'm being completely honest with you, my conversion rate at the time was like 12%, and so for me, it was just I felt like I was just following a script, and I felt like I was in a straitjacket. Um,
Like a robot.
yeah, and then at the end of the call, I was just dealing with rejections, and like, it's crazy because I didn't even feel these existed. I know this is how like even though I was in the space, I thought if someone had a problem, they obviously join a call to get the problem solved. If they feel like it can, they say yes. If they don't, they'll say no. But I was dealing with people who told me they know this could work, but they were scared to take action and things like this. It was just like I was so confused by it because it's completely like different to how I used to like buy. I would never join a sales call if I had no interest in buying, and I just naively thought everyone was the same. So yeah, I was just that was like the biggest frustration.
I'm the same. Like I don't understand because like if I get on a sales call, it's because I've done my research.
Yeah.
And it feels awkward as well. Like imagine getting on a sales call and intently listening and then being like,
Yeah.
nah, you didn't sell it to me.
Yeah. That's because I thought because obviously I know everyone doesn't have like 100% conversion rate, but just from my experience, the people who didn't buy it, it was just because one, they just didn't have the money, or two, it was just not the right fit for them.
Mm.
But yeah, it was dealing with people telling me they need to think about it and telling me that they're scared to put down the money and investment. I was like, yo, this is crazy.
What made you at that point? Because like I guess I'm guessing here. Did you know me at that point in time?
Well, good question. When I started, no. So,
So what point did
yeah. So when I was dealing with all these objections, I thought like the solution was objection handling, and that's what we get drilled in like sales team calls and meetings. You need to master objections. I just went down that path and I started looking. I just thought, you know what? I've always invested in myself, so that was never an issue. But it was just trying to find the right solution for me. But it was just something like nagging in my head, just saying like objections isn't the solution here. And I don't know what it was. I don't know what. I wasn't convinced that was the solution. But all the other sales trainers and that I saw was just objection handling. And I always have this mindset that when everyone's going like when everyone's digging, you sort of zag like that sort of mindset. So yeah, I was just trying to find someone who's not saying the same thing. Yeah, I can't remember how I came across you to be fair. I thought it must have been a YouTube video, and I got a lot of value from the YouTube. I think that's the first time I saw just someone who's teaching the sales process and doesn't focus too much on objections. And then I got a lot of value from one of your videos. It was like pushing for the no. I think that's what the title was. And yeah, I think I tried it on a call, and then I fell down the rabbit hole of okay, this worked. I didn't close them, but the call just went so much better than it was going in the past. And then I started taking in your content, and then yeah, it was just me going down to that rabbit hole, doing my research on you, getting value from your content, and then I was like, okay, this is the guy that I want to work with. So yeah.
Bro, you're making me realize I need to invest more into YouTube, man.
Yeah, honestly.
Yeah, me and Ryan have been speaking about that, but I do remember that you asked someone in a group, was it in
Yes, that's it. Yes. Okay. That's a good point. Right. So when I started to do some research,
keep talking about
I was in a community called Deal Fuel, and there was someone in there who recommended you as well. And I think I reached out to him and just asked him because I was split between should I just go for the course or should I go for the level up? And yeah, he told me go for the level up first. No, go for the course first, and then you can transition. But I thought, you know what, I'm just I just go all in or nothing. So I thought, no, let me just sort out the process and go for the level up. So yeah, that's a good point. Yeah, because I completely forgot about that.
Yeah, it's funny you should say because Deal Fuel, we've done a partnership with Deal Fuel. But yeah, they're super cool. But it's also cool that you in those other groups and you asked people in other groups
Yeah.
who just recommended me. So shout out Justin.
Justin, that's it. Yeah, Justin. Yeah, massive shout out to you because you put me on.
And also, I remember our first sales call because I don't take those sales calls like a normal sales call. But it's really funny selling your own stuff. You might remember I was actually really. You could look at this as pushing for the no. I would go and do the course like it's cheaper. You get the same taught materials, and I do that with everyone because it's true.
Mm-hmm.
You know? And if you haven't been through the course, what happens is a lot of people go through the course and then go, "Oh, I'd like to now work with him," right?
Yes. Yeah.
And when I speak to people who haven't done that, generally I'll push them to do that.
Yeah.
With you, what happened was on that sales call, I did that a few times, but you kept lingering.
Yeah.
And you still kept your door open to doing level up. And
Yeah.
so that's kind of pushing for the no. And not that I did it in that way, but it was like after I'd done that a few times, like, oh, he still literally wants to do this one-to-one. Cool, let's do it.
Yeah.
And so it goes.
It's a good point because I remember like on the call thinking that because I've been watching your videos and it was good to see it live and yeah, because I remember thinking that on the call. But yeah, you know what I was saying in terms of like before I jump on the sales call, I've done my homework, done my due diligence. So I was pretty much convinced. Like you could have told me to F off, I'd be like, dude, I still want to do this. So because yeah, I was convinced that this is going to be the right solution for me because, like I said, like everyone else was just focusing too much on objection handling, and I just knew that wasn't the right answer.
For sure, and I think you learned that as well throughout our time. But so like, let's just jump to the end so that people really understand. Like, where did you say end up? Like, what were the results after 30 days?
So for me, I knew when I committed, I was going to just dive in and just take all of your feedback, take on the program, the course, and just implement straight away. I'm always big on just trying to shorten the feedback loop that I have. So I remember we had a call, maybe our first call, and you gave me just. You told me the first 10 minutes of the call was where people fuck up. Yeah, and you showed me examples on the call that we had of me not concentrating in the first 10 minutes and actually listening to what the audience is saying. And that was huge for me. Took it on to the next call. Was able to get that over the line. I sent that to you, and then you was like, everything I told you, you literally got on board. So it was just that first call was huge for me. And then in my first month, I won an internal bonus within the team of like closing the most deals. And then I think a month of working with you, like 30 days been working with you, I hit my first 10K month. So just by just taking like the principles and your feedback from reviewing my calls and just action it straight away.
Well, that's amazing. And how much did because I think your close rate, what, 12%?
12%. So my highest so far has been 30%. So 30% exactly. So that's my highest month.
Not bad considering what a lot of the leads coming through. How qualified would you say they are?
Yeah, so we focus more on volume. So yeah, you can get all sorts. So yeah, and so yeah, the lead quality can vary, but yeah, for me, it's 30% is the highest in the team. I think that's a big part.
The way I see that kind of thing is like 30% is a bit misleading. As long as
Mm.
you've kind of doubled what you were doing before.
Yeah.
Um, But when you're going for volume and you're like packing up a calendar, you can
Mm.
just even saying half of the leads are qualified and good is tough. You know, it might even be less than that. So 30% of all of those is fucking amazing.
Yeah. Yeah.
Um,
Yeah. No, I'm chuffed with the results, and yeah, the offering is happy as well. So that's the main thing as well.
yeah, that is good to hear. So let's go into just a few kind of questions about what were like some key, because obviously there might be quite a few, but what were some key aspects you've learned along the way that,
Mm.
you know, because you haven't done other sales training,
Mhm.
but like, you spoke to all these other closers on your offer, you know, people who are trained a different way and do things completely different. Like, can you talk to people about how you're doing what I kind of say?
Yeah.
How different is that like to generally what else you see on the offer?
Night and day. So a lot of focus is on the end of the call and just like hammering people with rejection handling. And yeah, I feel if I get an objection at the end, I've messed up somewhere in the call. So that was huge for me. And just understanding that every single call is nuance to it and being able to understand that person, their pain points and how to challenge them, which is unique to them,
Mm.
rather than just trying to, I guess,
Kitchen sink.
yeah, yeah,
The first few calls, like, you know, you were having 1 hour 15, 1 hour 30-minute calls.
yeah,
And sometimes like the last 15, 30 minutes was just objection handling,
yeah,
you know.
hmm
And whereas now I know we've pulled that, not that I've been saying, you know, just shut off, stop doing that long, but generally the way you're going about things now, your calls are a lot shorter.
yeah,
You're not having to like throw the whole kitchen sink there because you've already got them to a point where the reason you're pitching and the reason why you might push a bit is because you truly believe like this is
yeah,
what
yeah,
they need. You know?
yeah. And also just building up trust with the prospect because it's actually quite people want to work with experts, right?
Yeah.
And if you could demonstrate that on the call, it builds up so much trust. And even just pushing away as well, that builds up insane amounts of trust in the call. Because like especially in the space that we're in where there's so many offers, there's so many guarantees, people are sort of immune to that. So if you're at the end of the call trying to convince them to work with you and you're trying to convince them to sign up because it's like no risk to them and all this sort of stuff, it comes across as scammy because it's like if you have this insane guarantee, like why do you need to convince this person to work with you?
Yes.
So yeah, just yeah, there's so much, which is that's night and day to what I hear and also just what I've been taught from like from
Yeah, it's kind of funny though, isn't it? The having to convince someone is
Mhm.
is what most the majority of sales is taught about convincing, coercing, not taking a no for an answer.
Yeah,
And that's why sales like gets just the bad rap.
yeah, yeah,
Whereas if you literally, as you said, if everyone digs you zag, and now I which is a good analogy, and I term all these things, you push for the no and challenge them and that stuff. It's not even tactics. It's just like
yeah,
just being the voice of reason and finding ways like because even if you have a good guarantee, you have a really good offer, yes, it might work for them, but it's not going to be the best decision for everyone there on the call. And if you can show them, I'm looking out for you, hey, the objection lies at the end you might get,
mhm,
they're not going to be there. That's
yeah,
all.
yeah,
Anyway,
100%. Yeah, that's a key thing. Um, just I think every call that I had was even the closing objections, like me just trying to like hitting
yeah.
them around the head and saying, look, your mindset is effed. You need to do this, take the risk, and all this sort of stuff. Whereas now it's just I build up so much trust on those calls, and at the end, it's just two people getting on the same side of the table and just making the best decision for them. So yeah, like I said, if I get an objection, I know I've messed up somewhere on that call.
Yeah, yeah, I can see that, and I think one thing you did well, for anyone listening as well, like Um, Damola got really, really good results and continues to. One thing he just highlights is that after every single call, on the call, he's listening, he's making notes, he asks for the recording, and he'll go and apply it the same day, pretty much. And I see that straight away. And that's why you get good results, because a lot of people hear things and it just, it's gone over the head. But one thing I think you took on really well straight away is I always say the first 10 minutes, make that fucking impression, right?
Yeah.
But we do things a bit differently, right? I know a lot of sales reps will go, boom, hi, how's it going? Boom, let's go into like pains and challenges, right? Throwing the tactics. Whereas what we do is we do an exchange of like, tell me a bit about you, and then how much you know about us, and like how do you feel that benefits you?
Massively. So it just ties up the situational stuff, and also it builds up my credibility. You taught me a lot about personal stature, and being able to implement that into like my process has been a game changer for me, because again, it just builds up that trust, working with experts. So yeah, it's been huge for me. Huge.
Yeah, and I think like personal stature for people listening, it's like Damola has huge credibility from what he's achieved in an agency and what he took it to. And that builds trust in itself, but it doesn't build trust if people don't know it. So it's about how can we use that, not to be promotional, like, hey, look at me, but more so, here's why you should listen to me, here's why you should trust in me.
Yeah.
You know, that's something we've used really well.
Yeah.
The last thing I want to go over is like the way we do discovery, right? What do you think about that process? Like, do we throw the kitchen sink at that discovery, or like how do you feel we apply it?
No, it's the opposite. So how I look at discovery now is I'm here to help the prospect make the best decision for them. And even if our program doesn't make sense based on their goals, I would tell them.
Yeah.
And then if it does, it's just painting a logical way of how we could actually help them based on their sort of unique challenges.
Yeah.
That's just how I look at it. So, yeah, because we do, obviously what we do is a volume play in terms of the appointments. A lot of the people that we speak to, we generally just can't help. But also there are people who where it doesn't make sense for them to invest 10K into our solution, and being able to like communicate that to them builds trust. And sometimes I do get people thanking me for being, they're used to people just trying to funnel them into like a decision. Yes, you need to do this, even if it's not the right decision. And then the people who it is a fit for, it's just being able to understand them, challenge them based on their sort of pain points, and being able to communicate how we can actually help them via our solution around their unique challenges and pain points.
Absolutely. And lastly, what is because you said something unique last week. I think it was like who you find, I wouldn't say easy, but like who's your best person to sell to? Like you speak to a lot of people, guys coming in, you speak to older gentlemen with businesses.
Yeah, it's definitely sophisticated businesses. So with the business product market fit, those are like my best calls, rather than sort of the more emotional 18-year-old beginners. They're not my favorite at all.
Hey, there are people out there like I'd recommend. There's like Caden and Trey who run another group, and I think they do really well with those types of prospects, and they teach that stuff. And but it's been really cool to see, because the way I see it is like you're brand new to closing, and you just come in your first kind of month with me, but we're getting way more respect and trust from people who have massive established businesses. You know.
Yeah, for sure. For sure.
That just shows that the kind of things we're doing is just establishing that trust with those guys.
For sure. And then another part of discovery as well, in terms of, because you do deal with prospects who, or do speak to prospects who I've probably gone through like, you know, the online sort of multiple programs, been burnt in the past. Dealing with them has been so much easier, just like pushing for the no.
Mm.
I almost think they jump on a call expecting you to like convince them that they need to join your program. Whereas I do the opposite. And in the end, they're almost selling themselves to me. Similar to like what I did with you. It's like, dude, like I want to work with you, please, please, please. So it's the exact same because if you've been burnt in the past and
Oh,
then
God.
yeah, and you're trying to convince them,
Yeah, it like rubs them the wrong way, doesn't it? It like
yeah,
feels natural, like, oh, don't worry, like,
yeah, yeah,
Mom, when we won't fuck you over like
yeah,
that.
yeah,
We'll help you, but it's like, to be honest, like, do you want to even risk doing that again? Like, I'm not saying
yeah,
we can't help you, but like, I don't know if another 10K gain is what you need right now.
mhm,
Now, if they sell, it's like if they sell themselves or they give you a reason, you gain confidence in why you should pitch.
yeah, for
You know?
sure, yeah, yeah. So yeah, just making it harder for them. But yeah, that's how I see it. And
Yeah,
for me, it's not even like tactical manipulation. You're just generally it's the truth.
and
It's
that comes from just listening. Then
yeah,
it's like, and I know people go, okay, they go on YouTube, like pushing for the no, this tactic, let me learn it.
yeah,
When you get kind of used to it, all you're doing is sitting and kind of just listening
yeah,
for what they say. Every single thing they say becomes a question back to them.
yeah. And also, it's going back to helping them make the best decision for them.
Yeah,
It's like if you have been burned, like you said, do you really want to go down this rabbit hole again?
yeah.
You know?
And pushing for the no is this is one of the big nuances. I think a lot of people ask me about it um, because you can easily push for the no and they just turn around and say, "Okay, bye then."
Yeah, yeah,
You
yeah,
know, do you really want to do this? Like you've been fucked over before. Yeah, I think you're right. See you later.
yeah, hmm
And you've
yeah,
lost the sale. So it's about being able to challenge them but keep the door open to the sale.
yeah,
You know?
yeah. So yeah, there is so much nuance to pushing for the no because yeah, it is very easy to do, but it's just again like listening to them and challenging them based on their unique thinking. I think that's key for me, and
Yeah,
rather than just pushing for the no for the sake of like doing it.
yeah,
Just I saw a YouTube video and yeah, like this guy's increased his close rate by pushing for the no. It's yeah, it doesn't really work like that.
thing exactly. But that's the cool thing about YouTube, etc., is you can learn that stuff, and you're like, okay, now it makes a lot of sense and work, and learn it. And then you obviously made the decision to we work one to one, and then it really helps you get the nuance quickly, right?
For sure,
Yeah.
100%.
And so I know this is a kind of like promotional question, but like, what would you advise to others in your position or in the position you were in? You can keep it short as long as you want, brother.
Yeah. Just do it. I would if you're familiar with Rich and closing paid, jump in. You could be like me, join Level Up, and you have the course as well. That's the bonus. But yeah, I would always just join Level Up because the course is great and it's going to give you um, the frameworks. But for me, it's just that direct feedback that I'm getting. That was just immense.
But I think the really cool thing though about doing level up is, I'm saying it myself, but like you if you try and level up, you get the course anyway. And
Yeah,
so
yeah,
what I've been doing with you is like, hey, let's go and work on this, and I'll go, hey, there's a bit in the course,
yeah, yeah,
search this and go and read about it, and then you go and do it, and then you get more kind of
for sure,
content.
for sure, for sure. And even because it's so different than what the masses are used to, I feel because I know in the program we have like the Q&A calls, but being able to ask you a direct question
Mhm.
on the things I'm learning in the course has been valuable to me. We have the community in the program and so in the course, and but yeah, just that because yeah, this is so different than what everyone else teaches. So it's just being able to ask you like direct questions is for me invaluable.
Yeah, I think people they read or they watch my stuff and they like, and it's good because it's a USP. They go, oh shit, it kind of makes you turn completely around 180, right?
Yeah, yeah,
I know you've been doing that throughout the time we've been working together. The more you kind of understand, the more videos you watch, you go,
Yeah.
oh fuck, yeah, now I get it, you know, and you kind of do that more and more until you get to a place of, I can't believe sales is taught in the other way.
Yeah. Yeah.
You know, it's good to see that kind of process you've gone through. Well, cool, man. Appreciate that. Let's. Where can people find you, actually, bro? That's a good question.
I am not the best person when it comes to social media. Where can people find me? That is a good question. In the closing faith community.
Good answer. I was actually thinking this the other day. I was like searching.
Yeah, I'm not.
Damola. I was like, found a school group. It's just like can't see anything.
Yeah, yeah, I'm not the best when it comes to social media. But yeah, it's a closing faith community.